Hey guys, welcome back to DMAC Customs on the YouTube. Dave here in the garage. Gonna button up this power steering lines and stuff. Last week we got the reservoir remounted, relocated once again, and we did a few other things at squirters and finished up the fuel system, the fuel lines again. But yeah, so this go around it is finish up these power steering lines. So let's get at it. If you watched last week's episode on the Area 51 project, I was relocating the power steering reservoir, which I just talked about in the intro, and I was short a few fittings, but I have since been and bought a few fittings. Hopefully we now got everything we need to finish this mamma jamma off and get that little, well, I wouldn't say little job, but that job ticked off the list. I'm made up, one fitting. That's what I had enough for, so that'll go down at the rack. And I don't know whether that was, I can't remember now, I think that might have been the return. So for that I need to put a 90 on this end, and then that's good to go. And then we have to measure up the other side and do the fittings for the high pressure side. And we won't be able to test it for leaking and shit like that until we actually fire this thing up and see if it runs. But we're going to have a bunch of things to check for leaks. The brakes seem to be good at this point. Might be different when they're under boost, but power booster thing, don't know, maybe. And we'll have to check all the fuel system and coolant and all of that and make sure everything is all buttoned up and tight and not leaking. So yeah, let's get into it. I've got to figure out where I was at, so I'll take this back over to the car and figure out where that one's going to go. Okay, so I don't know if you can see down there, but that little AN adapter down there, that's my return, which is the top one. The high pressure is the bottom one, so I think I actually had this cut to pretty much the right length. Yeah, I did. So I don't think I need any more play in it than that, so I can go and put the 90 degree on that. Is that right? Yeah, I've got one sitting on there at the moment, but that's the wrong sort, so I'll get that out of the equation now. So that's just a normal braided line fitting, which you could use for the return, but the high pressure, you need to have that Teflon sort of line stuff, because it can take a higher pressure than normal braided AN stuff, you know what I'm saying. So what do we need? We need a 90 on the end of there, which is this little mamma jamma here. Didn't even check these, but yeah, this is the it's got the little alloy kind of collar that goes in there, and you've got to screw it on the right way. So I've just got to fit this on here, take my bit of tape off, get rid of that. I always kind of like to take this off to get it over the top of all that kind of mess. And then start feeding it on. Didn't even start it. Alright, I think I need to clamp this and get it tightening up. Before I do go and install that new line there, hopefully it's not have enough flex in it, I've got this banjo fitting. It comes with a couple of crush washers. It goes on there, and then the actual banjo part goes on here. If I can get the packet open, like that. So that'll go on like so, and then crush washer number 2. So that will go on the back of the power steering pump. So I'm gonna go and install that, and I'll take this straight over as well, because that's going to end up getting attached onto there, and I'll need that to do my final measure for my overall length on my last bit of high pressure hose. Actually, what I can do is put my 45 onto this length here. I can do that now, so I can take that over and do my measurement too once I've got the banjo in place. Just take this bit of electrical tape off. Get this fitting on here. It's pretty much the same as what I just did on the other one, on the 90. Same sort of deal. So you've got the little aluminium collar. Okay, didn't work. Why didn't that work? It is a little bit crooked, that cut. Check that one. Yeah, I might just recut that. Just make sure it is nice and square. That cut is a little bit off, so we'll try it again. There we go. Right, got to try and cut it square. Alright, take 2. A little bit of braid wire sticking out the side. I'll just clean that off. Hopefully that's good. Okay, I think we're good that time. Alright, so I'll take banjo, pencil, need that, banjo, might as well take these over as well. Let's go. Put pencil up there on the tray. Now, this has got to go down in there. Just going to let that hang right, just straight down for now, I think. Yep. Oh, that's bottoming out, and it hasn't even nowhere near tight. Damn. Okay, looks like I might have to shorten this banjo by about 1/8 of an inch. I should measure this all proper like. How am I going to do that? Maybe get some washers or feeler gauges. I'll get some feeler gauges. That's good thinking, Dave. Feeler gauges. Yep, need a new battery too while I'm at it. Okay, this is going to be real difficult to try and do. And film at the same time. So, okay, that's a pretty good guesstimate there. That won't quite fit in there. What I've got, that little bunch of feeler gauges I've got sorted there. So if I trim it down about that much, we should be good. Just tighten that up so I can. Yeah, so if I take about that thickness off, whatever that works out to be, we should be good. Okay, so we could do with some masking tape or something. That's what it does. Put that hanging on there just for that purpose. Just some old 3M tape that's not the greatest for much of anything. It's quite old, this roll. It's been kicking around for years. So I've got to take that much off. Hopefully, that's the point. That might be why that was cut down. That's something I need to check. There's the thread depth in there to make sure even if I cut that off, I'm still going to get enough. The banjo's still going to go, and it should do. Yeah, this is designed for the banjo and the 2 cross washers. I'll just double check that though. Ah, yeah. Yep. Should good. Once the yeah, that's obviously the thread goes right to there. So once I take about, you know, a couple of loops off, less thread engagement, but it should still be alright. I hope. I reduced the pressure, so hopefully it's alright. Now that we've established that, I'll work out how much of this I'm going to take off. Do a couple of test applications of my masking tape. That's a bit much. Still a little much. About there. It's only about 1/8 of an inch. It's not a lot. That's not quite enough. I'll start with that though, because I'll probably cut it with a zip disc, and then I'll give it a dress up with a flat disc or a roll lock or something, just so that it'll probably take it down to what we need. I might take a measurement for my verniers off there as well actually, and just so I can reference back once I've cut that off. Okay, so that is a total of 27 millimeters. So I'll write that down. 27. Start. So I'm going to take it down to 25. That's only a couple of millimeters. Hang on, I'll measure this. It is 3 millimeters, 1/8 of an inch. Yeah, so I'm going to take this down. So its total will be 24. Right on there. Well, pretty close. I've still got a little bit. Yeah, so we want to come down to 24. Alright, let's cut this up. Just wrapped a bit of extra tape around there just for good measure for now. Okay, so that's quite hot. I'll just let that cool down a little bit now. Everything keeps sliding around in the vise though. Paint. It's still real hot. Yep. Give us a minute. Okay, so a little bit of brake lean cooled it down pretty quick smart. We're bang on our 24, which is a little bit of a lump there. I'm like, got a wee file here. I'm just going to clean up a couple of bits. The old flapper is not exactly the most accurate machining tool. Yeah, we're good. And one more thing I want to do is just take this leading edge where the thread starts. And you can see there, right there is where the thread starts. I'm just going to take that down a little bit with the file. Just to hopefully make it easier to start screwing in. With any luck, that should be it. It's just taking that a little bit off it, just deburr it, give it clean. should be good. I had to put my spectacles on for that close contact foliage and stuff. Right, go and reinstall that. Hopefully it all fits and works and stuff. Okay, so I've just got it up tight in there, but as you can see, it's not actually tightening up, so I still need to take a little bit more off. Threaded in really nice though, so that's a bonus. I wonder how I can do this. I can't even really see any play in it, so, well, any ear gap, but I couldn't even really see any like side to side play. It just wouldn't tighten, so I pretty much just got to take the tiniest little slither off of this, I think. Yeah, how am I going to do that super cleanly? I might actually just file it by hand. It might be the way to go. The old flap tack is just a bit oompher, so I'm going to measure this, take about 1/2 millimeter off it. Okay, so I just put it back in and it still has play in it, and so closer inspection into this, let's see if I can show you, hopefully you'll be able to see it. These crush washers that came with this fitting, you look right in at the shoulder there where the thread finishes. I actually don't, I think the bloody crush washers are actually not thick enough, and so it's bottoming out on the thread before it actually finishes in the fitting. Yeah, so what I'm thinking is it's actually hitting that shoulder of the thread on that banjo bolt before it actually gets to the washer. So I think I've gone and machined way too much off, which is a pain. Didn't even think of that. I would have thought if you're buying these, you know, a banjo and the banjo bolt and the crush washers that come with it, then surely they'd be the right size, you know. This is, ugh. Sometimes you just get pissed off. So I'm wondering, this has got like a little O-ring style washer on it, which is probably not going to survive me taking that off. And it's thinner, so I don't know what I'm going to do. I'll have to have a look and see if I've got another, like a crush washer that might work for that. Okay, so I do have a copper crush washer, which is slightly thinner than the ones that came with these, but I'm wondering if I could stack it. Then it leaves me fuck all thread now. Excuse the French, I'm just a little bit annoyed at the aftermarket industry and me not having the foresight to check that these, I just assumed you buy them all from the same place and they all come from the same shelf, and I would have expected that would have just worked. Even the hole is, is there a right way and a wrong way for that? No, they're the same. That was a washing machine, by the way. But even, yeah, where the hole coming out of there, there's one of the holes anyway, you can actually see the edge of it there. So I don't even know if this is going to work. Do I stack two washers at that end to push the banjo forward and then have it crush on that washer that way? But yeah, look how much thread's left. How much was on this one? Yeah, it's about the same on that. So and that was in a washing machine again. I'll go and hang that washing out in a minute once I sorted this out. That was in I think that was on the pump that came with the 383 actually, so I mean it should be alright as long as I don't lean on it too much, but yeah, oh well, we'll give it a try. If it leaks I'll know that's where I'm going to start looking. Okay, so just finger tight, can already tell it's kind of wanting to grab, so I'm going to crank that up and take it from there. Just wondering where it needs to sit. Maybe I won't crank it up just yet. I'll just get my measure and I'll crank it all up once the hose is done. But first up, I can't turn that washing machine off. Alrighty, so with all of that being said and done, I've got to get that on there. Just get it started. If I'm blind yet, that'll do. I've just got to get a rough mark. Where's my pencil gone? What did I do with my pencil? Oh, I took it back over to the bench. Hey, hey. Yep, there it is. Yeah. So, where is it? There's, if you look through that hole there, that's my AN fitting there. So I'm going to mark that about there, I reckon. It's only going to be a little shorty. Does that look about right? Yeah, if I cut it about there, the time that screws down, actually I could go a little bit longer at that one. Right there, right, take that out. Yeah, so she's only going to be a little wee shorty from the pump to the rack. It's actually a lot shorter than I thought it was going to be, but some tape around it. My markers. Yep. It's going to be in the centre there. Right, cut that. I might just fire up the compressor so I can blow all the crap out of it once I'm done. Okay, one last little fitting, hopefully. Hopefully that's it. Alright, I'll put the old shorty in first. Started. Now, just chuck that plug wire out the way. Oh, I made it too long. Or should I put the banjo on it and then hook it up? Yeah, I'll do that. Hang on, need two hands. Right. Now the copper washer. Drop everything 3 times. Okay, there's one. Oh, where's that washer got? Oh, it's on the floor. Is that kinking too much? Oh no, she looks alright. Just kinks forward. Ah, yeah. Hopefully that's all good. That's it. It does kind of comes forward on a slight arc. I can turn that 45 fitting to do different things. I could get it to go kind of like that, and then it follows its own kind of natural smooth arc, except I can't get in there properly. Alright, I'll sort that out and then I'll show you. Okay, so I'll show you from under here. So that's my banjo all tightened up and the straight fitting all tightened onto that. I think I've got to double check that. And then that's my high pressure down to my adapter into the rack, which was the 14 by 1.5mm Aeroflow O-ring style adapter to dash 6, and my little cutaway in here worked out just fine. And so now I've just got to put the low pressure in. I have to admit it did take a bit of monkeying around to get this on the right angle, because every time I tightened it up the other adapter was moving, and it took me a little bit of time to figure that out. But we got there in the end. Okay, so I'll just double check that that straight is tight. Pretty sure I did it. That one down there. Gonna do this blind. There's a little bit of movement in it. Oh, that's because I'm going the wrong way. Dipstick. Of course it's going to move if you're undoing it. Yep, she's tight. Alright, this mamma jamma now, so I might feed that down into there. It's kind of facing the wrong way, I think. Is there much turn in these? Oh, it's a swivelly one, I forgot about that. We're all good. See that fitting there just can swivel around in there like magic. Alright, so we'll get that down into there. I might have to get down underneath and start trying to fit that up. That's my knees, both barrels. Okay. I don't know whether I am in the right place to be doing this. I wonder if I should be doing it from the top. As long as I can get it straight enough, that it'll thread on properly. Maybe I need to take it off at the top. Hang on. Oh god. I don't want to bend that way. Take that off there. Okay, I might just have to persevere and get this done and check back in a minute. Alrighty, so that's my low pressure in. I could change the angle of that just so it flows, sits a little nicer, but she's in, she's tight, but I can change the angle from the top, I think. Like that. So that just moved. Hang on. Got to change a few things. Is that the right size? Yep. Alrighty, so these batteries aren't lasting very long. That's all the power steering plumbed up, hopefully. Now, I won't really know, like I said earlier, I won't know how good my fitting connections and that are until I get some power to it, engine running and things spinning and turbining and pressure building and all that kind of stuff. When I did the bomb truck, I had one fitting that leaked out of the ones I did for that, so hopefully we got this one up tight, because they are a bit of a pain to get to be fair. But so that's that done. What I'm going to do now Just change the batteries again, I think. Yeah, it's saying 19%, and I bought some cheap knockoff GoPro batteries because you cannot get Hero 8 batteries anymore for GoPro Hero 8. GoPro don't sell them, so all you can get is knockoffs, and so far they appear to be pretty shit. Anyway, YouTuber problems. But yeah, power steering's plumbed up. I'm going to actually fill it and bleed it. I know I asked last week if anyone knew what to fill it with, being that it's a Mustang rack on a Type 2 GM pump. I've been all over the internet, guys. There's so many differing opinions. There's, you know, all the Mustang guys and the Thunderbird guys and all of that sort of stuff are all about Type F trans fluid, which doesn't have friction modifiers in it. All the GM stuff is all like Dex 3 or Dex 4 for the later stuff, I think. Everyone unanimously agrees don't put stop leak power steering fluid in, because it'll just kill your O-rings and seals and stuff, so won't be doing that. What I'm going to do is just chuck some Dex 3 in it and just see how it goes. If I have problems, then I'll address that down the track. I mean, the rack has been sitting over 10 years now, so the O-rings and seals might not be great in it anyway, so we'll just have to wait and see. It should have some sort of assembly lube and that on there. It's never been run, never been driven, the steering rack that's in this car, so it should be alright, but you never know. Something could have dried out and perished, and as soon as I put pressure to it, it just could all start spewing out the boots and things like that, among other things. Anyway, I'm going to get the car up in the air so I can get the wheels spinning freely, so I can spin the steering wheel, you know what I'm saying. So I'll just change the battery and then we'll have a little adventure at that, maybe put some other shit away. Okay, so YouTuber problems. These are the batteries that go in my GoPro, and these I bought 2 batteries when I bought this GoPro, when I started, you know, doing my channel, kind of proper car videos on the channel. I had a few little time lapses and shit on there from yonks ago, but once I started, you know, really documenting the Area 51, I bought a GoPro Hero 8 Black, you know, and it's a good little camera, but it's about, what are they, 9, 10, I think they're up to 14 now, so it's a little dated, and so they changed the battery style at the Hero 9, so none of the future batteries fit the Hero 8. All the previous models fit it, but they don't sell those either, so all you get is these aftermarket little no name battery pack for Hero. It says Hero 5, but they all say that. And yeah, they were cheap, to be fair. They were I think I paid like I can't remember now, it might have been about $30 or $40 for the 2 of them, and yeah, they actually slide into the charger nice and all that kind of stuff. That's what happens with the GoPro batteries, is they start to swell like all lithium batteries do from charging and discharging and overheating and all that kind of stuff, and they say you got to let them cool down and that, but yeah, this is a high-flying YouTube channel, so we haven't got time for cooling down batteries and stuff. We haven't got time for charging batteries. We need to be we're on the go all the time. You probably think, what a load of shit. You get bloody 50 views a week. But that's the reality of it though. Like, yeah, I can't get batteries for my camera, because the rest of the camera is getting a bit beat up, you know, it's been dropped numerous times, but it still does everything I want it to do other than the batteries. So but anyway, so I'll get into this, get some fluid into this, bleed the system, hopefully get all the air bubbles out of it, and then in the time it sits over the next few months until we actually fire this thing up, hopefully more air will rise to the top. So let's do it. So I read somewhere on the internet that the capacity was 700 to 900 mil total, including what's in the rack. So I'm going to aim for about 700. See if I can. I'll do a little bit at a time and sort of work the rack back and forth and see how much just kind of flows down naturally. So let's do it. Look at me using a funnel and all that, like a nerd. The problem is I can't see how full it is. Need two hands. Alright, she is working her way down into the pump at least, so she's heading down. You can see bubbles coming out. Okay, you can see bubbles coming up from the return side as well, I think. Oh, it's already spilling it all over the place. God, useless, amateur. Alright, you can see bubbles coming up down on that side. That'll be coming up out of the return, so I might give the steering wheel a couple of little watt fours and see what it does. Okay, definitely could hear it blowing bubbles, but I'm a bit worried that if I do it too fast it will spit out and make a mess. Top off some more. Alright, might just put the cap on loosely and we'll do some steering wheel spinning. Okay, so we gotta go 1, 7, 8. So we've done 8. That's that much plus 3, and we'll just have a bit of a look-see. Push it down a little bit. She's a bit frothy. There's the washing machine again. Man's work is just never done. Home alone, so I have to do the washing. That's alright. Let's see if I can feel anything out of my fittings. There's no pressure under there, but you never know. They could still leak without any pressure. Nothing at that. Nothing dripping out of the racks or anything yet, but like I say, no pressure under it at the moment, but we'll just keep going. I'll top it off a little bit more and do a few more turny turns. Alrighty, so it's probably a little on the low side, but I'll leave it at that for now. I've bled the system like probably more than 20 lock to locks, probably more than 20 per side, so it's like my shoulders sore, put it that way. And that's taken that whole 700 milliliters of ATF, power steering fluid, and yeah, so that's that done. So we just let that sit. We might it might just naturally bleed out a few more air bubbles. Washing machines, that thing just goes forever until you shut it up. I'll get to it. And yeah, so that's, what was I saying? Yeah, so that'll end up sort of bleeding out maybe a little bit more kind of just of its own kind of, you know, might just do it by itself, just natural air rises to the top type of thing. I've just got to put that boot on so I don't forget. Before we kind of like try to drive this thing or whatever, once we fire it up and we can go leak checking and stuff, I can jack it up again and do some more lock to locks once we've had a bit flowing through it. I know that if you got air in the system it can cavitate and you get like a white foamy kind of stuff coming up through there. If it's well bled, washing machine, if it's well bled, it just seems to stay, you know, like its normal kind of state. Get a little bit of kind of bubbly through it, but not much, I think. But yeah, so that's it. We got power steering lines, bled, filled bled, and I'll drop this thing back down on the ground. And another job ticked off the list. That was just a little short one, but it got, you know, something done, something finished. Thank God. The only thing is this squirter reservoir that I did last week, I think it might be leaking. There's some water in there still, but there's watermarks running down my dust down there, so I may have to pull that squirter motor back out and maybe RTV that seal and things like that, just to get it to seal up a little better. Yeah, no, I don't know, I'll figure it out. But anyway, that's where we're going to leave this video. Going to try and keep it short and sweet. Got a heap of other stuff to do this weekend, garden stuff and shit like that. I mean, I've got cars that need washing, bomb truck that just is getting ignored again. I've started another project upstairs. That's a shit fight. There's some DIY bathroom renovation or ensuite. Yeah, so I kind of got to hook into that. Yeah, so got a lot to do this weekend, but I want to try and get a video done for you fellas who want to see, or you know, keep the regular content coming for you guys, and just to keep moving ahead on the old Area 51 project. You know, like if you stop them, it's sometimes really hard to get started with, hence the ensuite. Like I started that about 4 years ago and I just haven't got back to it. Like, I just wasn't inspired. Now I'm a little bit more inspired. I don't know why. I started hooking into it during the week, ripping tile showers and shit out, and yeah, it was hot, I'll tell you that. And I cut myself a couple of times, but that's alright. So yeah, that's where we're going to leave this video for this go around. Got the power steering finished up. Don't know what we're going to do next. Maybe I'll run all the Holly Terminator harness. That should just be plug and play. I've got a little bit of wiring to do for a couple of things to feed into the ignition and stuff like that. But that's, knock on wood, it should be pretty straightforward, as long as I can figure out what everything does and where it goes and all that kind of crap. Yeah, still got other things to do. Got to do door rubbers and seals, and I've got to do that stuff in the gas tank, the boot stuff I was talking about, the air ride stuff, the whole interior, drive shaft, a number of things. Still got painting to do, funnily enough. That's all that interior stuff still got to be painted, all the garnish mouldings and crap like that. And upholstery. I don't know. and painting, yeah, parts of those Thunderbird seats are going to have to be painted. But yeah, anyway, thanks as always for watching. Like, share, comment, share it onto your favourite social media, Facebook pages and shit like that if you like. Help me grow the channel, that'd be awesome. Begging. And yeah, we're on Facebook and Instagram as well. And until next time, take it easy and peace. Short and sweet, hopefully. We haven't edited it yet.